Real.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. Like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Network. You are watching another episode of Sportsminute on the ASAP Network. Tonight, I am joined by the one, the only, J-Mac. I'm trying to grow the best beard on the network out west. What's going on tonight?
Not a whole lot. Let's have some fun and let's get it done.
All right. I am also joined tonight by the man from the Midwest. Please get rid of Kirk Cousins, Brandon Herrera.
How's it going tonight, guys? I'm just chilling down here in the cold.
All right. And I'm also joined by the man that goes by Dave. God, I hate that bad man and Aaron Rodgers mess around, Dave. How's it going tonight, buddy?
I cannot believe you did me like that.
Really?
I hate you.
How's it going tonight, brother?
We're good. We're good. Look forward to these topics we got tonight.
All right. So before we go ahead and get started, we have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. So go ahead. Did you have a question?
I just want to send well wishes to Vic. She can't be with us tonight. She's down a little bit under the weather, but we all miss her here. We want her back. Get well soon, please.
Yeah, Vic, get well.
She'll probably be back on Saturday, so you'll probably see her on Sports Minute on Saturday. All right. So with that being said, now we'll take care of a little bit of housekeeping. So our first ad of the night is going to be Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry. Now, everybody realize that all of her jewelry is lead and nickel free. It's $5 shopping for ASAP Sports viewers. All you have to do is go to www.paparazziaccessories.com. The code on that is 160920. And just think, Christmas is right around the corner. If you need something for your wife, your daughter, whatever, she's got some awesome bling. Suzanne's Bling. Order now, order today, and you will get that shipment as fast as you possibly can. All right. So now going into our next one. J-Mac, tell us a little bit about Anchor.
Well, Anchor, I'll tell you what, if you want to do a podcast and you don't know how to get started, go to Anchor. They got all the tools you need. You can sign up for free. Doesn't cost you a thing. You can actually make a little bit of money doing it. Not a bunch, but you're going to make a little bit if you get good at it and get it out there. They will distribute it to Spotify. You can hear it on Apple Podcast, Google Cast, all kinds of places. We are actually on there. So if you don't have time to watch the show tonight and you want to listen to the show like on your way to work, what have you, on a road trip, we are on Anchor under ASAP Sports.
All right. Thank you for that, J-Mac. Okay, so mess around. How do you win one of those free shirts?
Well, you can win one of those bad boys by commenting on any of the shows or liking and sharing. Have the most of those, and you win a shirt.
All right, so I want everybody to know that tonight I am repping the All Sports All Play Network shirt. You can have one of these bad boys, just like Mess Around said. Just go on there, comment. You leave a comment. Hey, guess what? We'll try and answer your comment. And if you're scared to comment because you're like, man, I don't want to look goofy. You know what? That's okay. Or if you're working and you're like, man, I still need one of those shirts. Brandon, how do you get one of those shirts if you can't come on a show and comment?
Well, you just find one of us people from the ASAP network, get in contact with them. They'll give you the information and you can order one. I believe I've heard that it went down to $14 plus shipping and handling, and not $25.
Yes, it is now $14.99 plus shipping and handling. You have that correct. So that $25, it is now actually pretty much, it's almost cut in half, not quite in half, but we're at $14.99 plus shipping and handling. Where are you going to find a nifty shirt like this of all sports, all plays for $14.99 plus shipping and handling? That's a fantastic deal. Trust me. All right. So we have some hot topics for you tonight, and I cannot wait for some of these topics. I've been waiting all day, especially for one of these, but we're going to wait on that one just a little bit. So our first topic of the night is we're going to talk about who we believe is the top 5 rivalries of all time in sports. With this one, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to start out with Mess Around Dave on this one. So go ahead and give me your top 5.
Top 5, number 5. I'm all over the place on this. I did little college ball, some NBA, baseball, boxing, NFL. So with number 5, I went with Duke and North Carolina. I mean, how could you not have this on there? These guys, I mean, they used to be a good rivalry. They're not so much anymore. But for a while, they met in the finals like 4 straight years, I believe it was, in the early 2000s. If one wasn't there, the other was there. Number 4, I went with the Lakers and the Celtics. One of the greatest rivalries. They met in the finals quite a bit in the 80s. Every other year, the other team was winning. So, and then number 3, I went with the Red Sox and the Yankees. Yeah. I picked that one because for a while the Yankees owned them. You got the whole story of the Red Sox selling Babe Ruth to the Yankees, and he went on to become the great Bambino. For a while, they had that curse. They didn't lift it until they were down 3-0. And I believe it was 2002, I want to say. And they came back and won that series. Number 2, I went boxing. I went with Joe Frazier and Ali. They went back and forth. Ali, I believe, won the first one in the decision. And then the second one, Ali won the second bout. And the third one, too. Number 1, I didn't want to put it on there, but I went with this. I went with the Packers and the Bears. The greatest rivalry in the NFL. I mean, the Packers have owned us for, 20 years now, so it's not so much a rivalry anymore. But they both have the most Hall of Famers combined, the most championships combined. So I had to put them on there at number 1.
All right, so it's okay, Mess Around. All right. Oh, come on. That's an old comment. Come on now. All right. We're good. All right, so we'll go right now. We'll go to that man from the Midwest, and Brandon Herrera. So Brandon Herrera, go ahead and give me your top 5 list.
All right. I for surely wanted to put Will versus Goff on there, but I don't know if that's a rivalry yet since Goff doesn't know who Will is. But anyway, so I was looking through it. There's many we could have chosen. I got 2 at my number 5. It was hard. I got Ohio State and Michigan. I mean, that's a type rivalry in college. They battled Big Ten titles over and over again. I also kind of classified the NFC East as a rivalry altogether because everybody I talked to, if you're a fan of that team, you do not like any other team in that division. So, number 4, Mess Around kind of touched on it. The Lakers versus Celtics. I mean, they've played in many finals together. They've got multi-Hall of Famers. I mean, there ain't nothing that this rivalry hasn't stated that we could state. Number 3, I went with the White Sox and the Cubs. Because people I know, if you're a White Sox fan, you cannot like the Cubs in no way, shape, or form. And vice versa. If you like the Cubs, you can't like the White Sox. So I think that's a nice little in-state rivalry there. Number 2, how can you not put the Red Sox and Yankee rivalry on there? I mean, yeah, they haven't done much. prior to 2000s, but I mean, the Red Sox Yankees battle back and forth. I mean, I can still remember the infamous brawl with Martinez throwing down. I want to say Whitey Herzog, but that's not who it was. In their little fight or sidestepped him and he fell over, however you look at it. And then number one, of course, you got to go with the Bears and Packers. I mean, yeah, Packers own the Bears, but no matter what, I still believe that the Packers were 2-14. As long as those 2 wins were against the Bears, they would be fine. And along with the Bears, if they were 2-14 and they got the 2 wins against the Packers, that would be a win in their books too. So that's my top 5.
All right, J-Mac, go ahead and take it away.
All I'm going to say is before I go to my list, you guys will be surprised at my number 1. But when I say it, you're all going to be like, oh, yeah, he's probably right. So number 5, got to go with something that Mess Around pointed out, the Lakers and Celtics. That's been a rivalry for a long time, and it actually was a rivalry way 70s and 80s. It was a big rivalry. Yep. Not so much lately, but it's still a big rivalry for those fan bases. Number 4, Red Sox and Yankees. How can you not go with that one? It's always talked about. It's always on ESPN. It's always they're always televised. Actually, I have Green Bay and Chicago at number 3. I think any of these top 3 could be number 1. So, but Green Bay and Chicago number 3. How can you not? It's the best rivalry in the NFL, the longest rivalry in the NFL. You can't deny it. Number 2, I have Ohio State and Michigan. That's probably the biggest college football rivalry that there is. Everyone knows about that. Everyone picks a side every single year. My number 1, and I know Ace, you'll agree with me on this one. My number 1 is actually over in the English Premier League. It's Manchester United versus Chelsea versus Arsenal. When any of those 3 teams play each other, that they are divided strictly right down the middle. There is no, well, I root for Arsenal, but I also root for Manchester United. I also root for Chelsea. No, you don't. No, you don't. There is no way. So there's my top 5.
So I was in a way like Mess Around and what J-Mac did. I was kind of all over the place on my top 5 list. And there was some shockers on your guys' list, so I can tell you now there's going to probably be some surprising ones on my list too. So actually at number 5, my number 5 right now, I have Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. Now, when it comes to this, their first match was actually as people probably forgot about this, but it was actually in 1984, but it was actually as amateur boxers. And the winner of that was actually going to go play on the Olympic boxing team, which ended up being that Holyfield actually beat Mike Tyson in that bout the first time they went off in the amateur. And Holyfield actually went on to be in the Olympic boxing match at that point. Then their second match, and that was when they faced each other as pros for the first time, was actually in 1996. And guess what? Holyfield won that one again. So then we go to the historic 3rd round match, which you know exactly what happened in that one. That was the famous one where Holyfield went in, where Tyson went in and bit Holyfield's ear and took a chunk of it. At that point, that started that rivalry, and I don't blame Holyfield for not boxing Tyson again. I mean, really, would you? After taking a chunk of his ear? Crazy. All right. So my number 4, and Mess Around, I'm kind of surprised in a way that you didn't get this one too, or J-Mac. But my number 4 was actually Detroit Red Wings versus the Chicago Blackhawks. Because when you think about this rivalry, this goes as far back as the original 6. From 1926 and 1927. That's when they first originally met. So they were way back then. That rivalry goes back that far. Now, the Red Wings for the longest time had dominated this rivalry for a very, very long time. But what's happened recently? The Blackhawks recently have gotten better. The Red Wings have gotten worse. So, of course, the Blackhawks are now catching up because, I don't know, the Red Wings are still in rebuilding mode. But we've been there for a few years. Just so everybody knows, J-Mac and I are Red Wings fans, and Mess Around Dave is actually a Blackhawks fan. So that's why I mentioned that, to said I'm actually surprised that this wasn't on his list. But hey, that's okay. You guys' lists were great too. So my number 3, J-Mac, you'll probably remember this one too, because you went soccer-wise too, and on this one I actually did too. But I actually went Celtic FC versus Rangers FC. And this was actually in the Scottish League. So when you look at the Scottish League, these two teams played each other 397 times. They each have 96 Scottish championships between them. Now, when you talk about a rivalry that has gotten insane, this was back in 1980. They had a match in 1980 to where the Celts actually beat the Rangers 1-0. But this game got so far out of hand that they actually said, okay, when the Celts play the Rangers, people are not allowed to drink alcohol. They banned alcohol in this matchup. That's how crazy it got. My number 2 is actually Army versus Navy in college football. This has gone on for a very, very long time. And this is a rivalry that it's kind of like the Bears and Packers in a way, to where if both teams are winless, but they have that one win, as long as it's against each other, they don't care. Like that, they want that one win, and it has to be against each other. My number 1, mess around, I went with you, Bears Packers. How could you not? I really didn't want to put that on there because I didn't want to be a homer on that and be like, Bears Packers with me being a Packer fan. But how could you not put that on there? It's a historic rivalry, one of the greatest of all time. And yes, if you remember, mess around, before the 2000s started, Chicago was actually leading the all-time series in this.
They were.
But when 2000 started, man, I'll tell you what, Green Bay has dominated more than the last decade. So we're there now. All right, so that was our top 5 rivalry lists. And see, we have Army versus Navy, so good. Yes.
Where would you guys put the Palmer-Nicholson rivalry? Top 10?
Oh, definitely top 10.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest rivalries in golf that there possibly is. So how could you not? But I just didn't think it was top 5.
No,
Right.
I agree.
Real quick, I want to say something about golf because I saw it 2 days ago, I think, and they always have conversations about greatest of all time in different sports, and I'm not for that conversation. I hate that conversation, to be completely honest. But there's one that comes to mind for me in golf, and it's Tiger Woods, and I'll tell you why. I saw a thing that solidified it for me the other day, and it said that Dustin Johnson has been the number 1 player in the world for 108 weeks in a row, okay, in golf. You with me so far?
Yep.
Right? So all he has to do is stay the number 1 player in the world until December 7th, 2026, and he'll catch Tiger Woods for the longest streak as the number 1 player in the world. Tell me that's not the greatest of all time. He's got to do it for another 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. So our second topic of the night, and I'll tell you what, I have been waiting for this topic because it is top 5 Giants quarterbacks of all time. And I'll tell you what.
Freddie Henderson's watching. Let's just remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Henderson is watching, and I'll tell you what, when he hears my list, he's going to go absolutely bananas. I'm just telling you that now. So with this one, I'm going to actually go ahead, and I'm going to start with J-Mac on this one. So give me your top 5 New York Giants of all time.
All right. Here we go. Freddie, I know you're watching. I'm ready for your comments. Just saying.
I think we all are.
All right. Number 5, Otto Graham, when he was a Giant. Number 4, Eli Manning. He's in at number 4. Really, the 2 Super Bowl rings, he did mean a lot for the Giants. And I can't disagree with Will Polson. Eli equals the 2000s era Troy Aikman. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Number 3, I would have Kurt Warner, even though he was there a short time, he did play very well for the Giants. Number 2 is Y.A. Tittle. He was great when he played in New York. He also had Frank Gifford at running back. So, again, that always helped loosen things up for him. Number 1 is Phil Simms. Phil Simms is, to me, I think New York Giants quarterbacks, I don't think Eli Manning. I think Phil Simms. Could be because Mess Around will agree with me, but could be because he was the Giants quarterbacks when we were kids. But Phil Simms, Phil Simms is number 1 for me. So,
all right. This one I'll go ahead and I'll go to the man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera.
All right. In honor of Freddie, I pass. No, I'm just kidding. Number 5, I tried so hard not to have him in my top 5 because I don't like the guy. I didn't like his comments when he came out of the draft. But after looking at it, you can't not have Eli Manning in the top 5. So Eli Manning, top 5, 500 win percentage. I mean, he's leading the Giants in every passing category probably. Number 4, I have Tittle. He was there 4 years, 32-13, and he's in the top 5 in every category in just a short amount of time. I mean, that's unbelievable. Number 4, I'm going Fran Tarkenton. Again, only there for a short time, but again, he's in the top 5 in all the categories. I mean, and then I got number 2, Charlie Corlin. 57-31 is his record. That's third best win total. He's top 3 in every category. I mean, and then J-Mac, I'm with you. Phil Simms. I mean, why? When I saw this topic come up from Ace, that's the first quarterback I thought of. I actually thought he had better stats. I thought Eli was chasing him, but after doing it, I'm surprised. But I mean, number 2 in every category. But how can you not have Phil Simms as the greatest quarterback with 2 rings? Yeah, he didn't play in 1, but he got 2 rings. So that's my top 5.
All right. I'll go to Mess Around.
Okay, so number 5, I got Jeff Hostetler. All he did was come in and help them win the Super Bowl, and Sims went out. Number 4, I got Kerry Collins. 16,875 yards, 81 touchdowns. Not a bad career with the Giants there. Number 3, Y.A. Tittle. He had 10,439 yards, 96 touchdowns with the Giants. Number 2, Kerry Collins. 16,875 yards, 81 touchdowns. And number 1 is Phil Simms. I don't even have Eli on my list. I think that with he was a good quarterback. He put up numbers, but he didn't. His defense led him to those wins in those Super Bowls. So that's why I didn't have Eli on my list. And you can't go wrong with Phil Simms at number 1. 33,462 yards, 199 touchdowns.
And again, I'll ask the question, Mess Around. Am I right, though? When we were kids, that was their quarterback. So that's who you think of as number 1, Phil Simms.
Yeah, Phil Simms, absolutely.
Well, that's
absolutely. Okay.
I'm older than you guys. That's the first quarterback I thought of.
Right.
Yeah.
So now my top 5 lists for the Giants all time. My number 5 is Ed Danowski. So when it comes to Ed Danowski, he actually led the league in passing for 3 years. And this was back in the 30s. So it's 35, 36, and 38 when he actually led the league in passing. He led the Giants to 4 championships. He only won 2 of them, but he led them to 4. So, I mean, come on, that's pretty impressive. You lead the league in passing for 3 years. You go to 4 championships. You win 2. I say that's pretty impressive because the guy was a proven winner. All right, number 4, Mess Around. I agreed with you with somebody on your list on this, none other than Kerry Collins. How could you not have Kerry Collins on this list? When he went to the Giants, everybody was thinking he was done, because he was kind of older, and everyone's like, oh, Kerry Collins is done. So this is the funny part, because people probably don't know that Kerry Collins owns 7 actual records that the Giants have, and most of them are actually playoff records. So that's probably something that a lot of people probably do not know. All right. Then number 3, the guy you were thinking of, Brandon, was actually Charlie Connerly.
Okay, yeah.
And so think about this. As of 2017, I'm sorry, in 2017, he held 10 franchise records, passing records in 2017. And he also won an MVP. He won a championship, but he actually took the Giants to 3 of them. So impressive quarterback. Okay, so now when it comes to number 2, Y.A. Tittle. Obviously, Y.A. Tittle has to be there. The funny thing with Y.A. Tittle, when you think about it, he broke his own record at one point, because if you remember back then, passing wasn't what it is now. So back then, the record was actually – the passing record at one time was 30. He came out and broke it. He threw 33, and then when everyone's like, oh, he's done, he comes back the next year, and he actually throws for 3 more and throws 36. So Y.A. Tittle – and at this point, you got to think, Y.A. Tittle at this point was like 37 to 38 years old, and this was in a league to where passing really wasn't much of a thing at this point. All right. Then my number 1, I'm saying it now, Phil Simms. How can Phil Simms not be number 1? Now, mess around. You mentioned that Jeff Hostetler came in and won that Super Bowl. But do you realize he had to take over for Phil Simms because Phil Simms was hurt? So
I know that.
Yeah. So not only did Phil Simms win an MVP, he won a Super Bowl, and he actually would have probably let him to and win the other one against Buffalo also. So Phil Simms is what they call a very, very underrated quarterback, one of the most underrated quarterbacks of all time. And I'll tell you what, I truly agree with that statement. Very, very underrated. Have you guys ever heard of Phil Simms Spotlight? When the NFL games would come on and it's in the middle of a game and they go, yeah, of course. How could you not? Because he was very, very accurate. So Phil Simms Spotlight. And Freddie's going crazy up in here.
Of course he is.
Crazy.
But here's the thing. Look at Phil Simms. Let's go to Phil Simms for a second because he doesn't get enough talk. He doesn't.
No,
he doesn't. He does not.
Phil Simms threw more career touchdowns than Troy Aikman did, and everyone talks about Aikman from the 90s because Aikman won 3 Super Bowls.
Exactly.
No, Freddie. No, right now.
Touchdowns. Phil Simms had better seasons than Troy Aikman did, and did not have the players that Troy Aikman had on his team.
Man,
four seasons
Freddie.
of Phil Simms' career, his top receiver was a tight end named Mark Bavera.
All right, so what I'm reading right now in one of the comments, and I'm glad we did this category because I knew Freddie was going to get going up in this category. I knew it was going to get. Once I did not put Eli Manning in my top 5, I knew it was going to get going. So Freddie is saying that Eli's top 3. Now, what I want to know, Freddie, are you trying to say that he's top 3 Giants quarterback? Are you trying to tell me he's top 3 of all time? Because if you tell me he's top 3 of all time, that's a very delusional take, and I don't know where you're getting that from. So I want you to put the comment in the box to tell us: are you talking about top 3 all time or top 3 Giant quarterback of all time? Freddie, who cares if he hasn't missed a game? Who's got the all-time Iron Man streak? That'd be Brett Favre, homie. Okay, Giants quarterback. He's still not top 3 Giants quarterback, brother. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I can do it.
There's 4 guys that didn't put him in their top 3. So.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So one thing I will give credit to Freddie for is Freddie just said he ain't 100 all time. So Freddie actually realized that. Okay, so maybe Eli Manning's not as special. I don't know. I'm just saying, at least he realizes that.
Well, 100 quarterbacks, I mean, he's got to sneak in there towards the bottom. I mean,
Towards the bottom.
You know,
Towards the bottom. Towards the bottom.
oh,
Yes.
man.
But those top 5 quarterbacks, and the funny thing is when people look at quarterbacks, they look at them and they look at the era now. That's a lot of the problem. So when they're coming out with a top 5 list, they go, okay, look at the era now. All these quarterbacks have come out, they average 30 plus touchdowns a season, but they don't look at back then and realize, you know what? Back then, when you throw 20 touchdowns a season, that was good. That was good. Freddie, no, man, no. You guys would have won Super Bowls with your defense, bro. That's what won you those Super Bowls was your defense. That's what won you those Super Bowls. But I don't want to get in a debate with you. We can debate this at another time, but your defense won you those Super Bowls. Okay. So now we're going to
– he coming off the edges. That defense carried him, man.
It did.
You had Umanura and Strahan at one time, both on the defensive line with Jason Pierre-Paul. By the way, you had all 3 of them at the same time at one point. Don't tell me it wasn't your defense, Freddie.
Now, there was something that I was going to point out on this list, though, and I think Messaround had him on his list too. Was Kerry Collins? Now we're talking about how Eli Manning, threw a lot of picks, which he did. But I'll tell you what, Kerry Collins had one of the worst Super Bowl games I've ever seen in my life. The dude threw like 5 interceptions in that game against Baltimore. That was horrible.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that was one of the worst I've ever seen.
He had to walk back to New York.
No, Freddie, it's got nothing to do with him coming to Lambeau and beating the Packers. Oh my God, dude!
By the way, Freddie, if you're gonna spell Lambeau, will you spell it right, please?
No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got nothing to do with that. All right.
Let's move on.
If Eli's last name wasn't Manning, would you guys think any different of him?
All right.
No.
So,
exactly.
That's the thing. Like he's trying to build it up because his last name is Manning.
Yep.
Thank you, Will, for correcting him on Lambeau. By the way, but
okay.
No, if his last name wasn't Manning, he wouldn't even get the attention that he got.
Exactly.
All right. So I don't know. How are we debating a dude that's not even on the show? Like, I'm curious about that. Okay, so we're gonna go into topic number 3 now, and topic number 3 of the night is we're gonna actually make our NFL predictions for who we feel. Oh, hold on, before we get to our topic number 3, we're at the halfway point. So at the halfway point, what I want to do is I'm gonna actually say we're gonna hit up our next sponsor, which our next sponsor of the night is actually Misty Meadows. So
you're gonna make me do it, aren't you?
So J-Mac, go ahead. Tell me a little bit about Misty Meadows.
Well, they are an Oregon-made store. They make everything in-house. Jams, hot sauce. Oh, let's see what else they got. Honey. They got almost anything you can imagine in that store. It is all made in-house, all Oregon. They have 7 Oregon-made stores. They are just one of them. They are in Bandon, Oregon. They're on Highway 101. It is 48033 Highway 101 South. Again, that's in Bandon, Oregon. I'm trying to find the phone number. I'm sorry, I was not prepared for this. My bad. Here we go. Okay, 541-347-2575. They take phone orders. They take online orders. I believe, Brandon, you're from the Midwest, which is about 2,200 miles away from us, something like that. And you actually checked this store out. Am I right, sir?
I sure did. They got barbecue sauces.
That was
I
what I forgot.
an order here somewhere.
Yes,
all right.
Barbecue sauce. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I was having camera issues for a second, but I got it fixed. So, J-Mac, our next sponsor is actually our Black Market Toffee, if I do remember right on that one.
Yes, and I'm telling you, I wish I had a picture for you. I'm sorry. I'm a little behind on that one, but it is ran by Jamie Kanagi. This woman does great stuff with the toffee. I'm going to pull up some information for you because I still have it here. And I'll get you – she is on Facebook under Black Market Toffee. And it's handcrafted in small batches, use the finest ingredients available without the use of fillers or corn syrup. So no corn syrup in this toffee. Keep that in mind. A perfectly delicate crunch that'll never stick to your teeth. And when she says in her tagline, that it's so good you'll have to hide it. She doesn't mean you'll have to hide it from other people. You'll have to hide it from yourself. Or you will eat all of it in one sitting, and I'm not even kidding. And you can get a half pound for $15. You can get a full pound for $28, and you can get 2 pounds of toffee. Think about that, 2 pounds. That's a lot, but you don't want to eat it all at once. But you can get 2 pounds of toffee for $35. Now think about that for a minute. Think about how good of a deal that is. So check it out, Black Marks Toffee on Facebook.
I like toffee.
Yep.
I love toffee. I would eat toffee every day if I could.
Yeah,
all right.
It's good stuff.
All right, so that was our sponsor. So we did a little bit of housekeeping there. So our next topic of the night, that just like I was saying before, we're going to actually talk about our NFL predictions division by division. So we'll go ahead and we'll start in the NFC. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with that interesting NFC West that is going on right now. So when you look at the NFC West, you have the Rams, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the 49ers. Right now, the Rams are actually in first place in the NFC West. So with this one, I'll go ahead and I'll start with mess around on this one, because you have the Rams in first, the Seahawks in second, the Cardinals in third, and the 49ers in fourth. So who do you have winning the West, and how many of them are going to make the playoffs?
Man, this is tough. The Rams and Seahawks are both at 8-4 right now. And I had a tough time deciding who I thought was going to win. But I went ahead and went with the Rams because of their defense. They play such good defense. And Aaron Donald's a bad dude. He's unblockable. Their offense plays good when they want to, it seems. So I went ahead and I took the Rams to win the division.
All right. How many teams in the West do you foresee making it?
2. Seattle and the Rams. I got 2 coming out of there.
So you're saying that the Cardinals, no bueno at this point?
I think they blew their shot. They're so Jekyll and Hyde. Like, you never know what you're going to get out of them from week to week. So I think they're too iffy to even include at this point.
All right. This one I'll go over to J-Mac. J-Mac, who do you have winning the West?
I'm with mess around. I think that the Rams win it, even though I don't believe in Jared Goff. I am with Will Polston on that all the way. I do not agree. I do not believe in Jared Goff. I do believe in that defense. And again, offense wins games, defense wins championships. We've heard it before, and it'll be true. I'm not saying they're winning the championship, but they'll be right there because of that defense. The flip side, you have Seattle. Seattle's offense is great. Their defense sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is not good. And so they're not going to make a run in the playoffs. I see 2 teams making the playoffs, as Mess Around did, the Rams and the Seahawks. I see the Seahawks with an early exit, however.
All right. So the man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera.
Yeah, I got to go with those 2, J-Mac and mess around. Rams are going to win it. Yeah, I don't trust Jared Goff either, but, you know, that defense is solid. Seattle, yeah, I trust Wilson more, but, I mean, their defense is kind of hit or miss. I got the Cardinals battling for that 7th seed, but as of right now, I got them sitting out. So I got the same 2 teams, Rams and Seattle. Rams winning it.
Which is kind of interesting when you look at that. And I'm not going to say that I disagree with you guys in any aspect with who I believe is going to win the West, because I truly believe that the Rams are going to win the West too. And that's basically based off of what you guys are saying. You know, it's their defense. Their defense is gonna be what wins it for them. It's definitely not going to be Goff. It's not going to be the offense. It's going to be their defense. Their defense is really, really good. And then when you look at Seattle, their defense is just not good. They're not good at all. And we saw a little bit in the previous couple weeks that Seattle's offense has struggled a little bit more. Russell Wilson has come back down to earth just a little bit. He's lost a lot of ground in the MVP race. When you look over his last 5 games, he's thrown 11 touchdowns to 8 picks. That's not too good. So I'm with you guys. I've got the Rams in the West. I've got the Seahawks coming in the wild card. But at this point now, I think that the Cardinals are going to be actually good enough to sneak in. So I would give them that last spot. But I'm still up and down on that one.
Yep.
All right, so the next division we're going to touch on is obviously we're going to touch on the best division in football. We're going to talk about the NFC East. Sorry, that was a joke. I had to, make it a little bit better in there. Okay, so we'll go to the NFC East, and currently you have Washington in first place. Oh, no, they're tied actually. So the Giants are actually up there, then Washington's behind them, and then you have Philadelphia, and then you have Dallas. And you only have Philadelphia up there because they have that tie, and then Dallas is in last place. So, yes, with that being said, because the Giants are in first place right now, after looking at their schedule last week, or it was actually the other day I was looking at their schedule, Washington's got a little bit of a tougher schedule. So, I don't know. All right. So, on that one, I'll go ahead and I'll give J-Mac this one first. NFC East, who takes it?
Washington, the team without a name. Think about this. Y'all go back and watch Saturday's show. And when I said Washington was going to beat Pittsburgh, they were going to run the table, and they were going to win the NFC East. And I got laughed at. Well, what happened? Washington beat Pittsburgh. Piece number one for running the table and winning the East. And by the way, that means that Alex Smith, hands down, wins comeback player of the year. There is no question. There's not even anyone second in that race.
Yeah, hey, I completely agree with you on that. I will go back to one thing and say I did say that Washington was going to beat the Steelers. I did agree with you on that. But I do not agree that Washington will run the table. I don't think they will. That is one thing I don't think will happen. But I do have them winning the East, and that was only – I got to backtrack a little bit because now that my memory is rebooting on that, it was actually the Giants that had the rougher schedule. The Giants have a really, really rough schedule coming up. The Washington's is a little bit easier, so I'm going to go with the Washington football team, and they're going to win it, but they're not going to run the table. So mess around. You go ahead.
So on the pregame show, I called both of those upsets. I called the Giants beat the Seahawks and the Washington football team beating the Steelers. So I just want to throw that out there first. Having said that, I got Washington winning this. I mean, who doesn't want to see Alex Smith in the playoffs? Part of that feel-good comeback story. Maybe even winning the playoff game would be awesome. I'd like to see that. Probably not going to happen, but I'm going to go with Washington because that defense is ferocious. They got pass rushers left and right. Smith is a good game manager. I think the Redskins hold on and they take the division.
Yeah, and it's not only their pass rushers, but they also have actually the number one passing defense in the NFL at this point in time. Their passing defense is legit. All right. So the man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera, who wins the East?
We're going to make it 4 for 4. I'm going with Washington. I did not see them beating Pittsburgh, but like Will just said right here, they're going to catch fire after that game. That was a huge game for them. Alex Smith will win comeback player of the year, and I would love to see them run the table all the way to the Super Bowl, but I know that's not going to happen. I just want to hear the commissioner say your Super Bowl champs is the Washington football team. So,
Right.
But yeah, I got Washington winning this one.
Well, it looks like it's a clear consensus with the NFC East. We all have Washington winning it, and I really think it's going to happen. All right,
Yep.
So now we'll go to the NFC South. This is a little bit – this division's kind of interesting. All right, so obviously in this one you have the Saints in first place. You have the Buccaneers in second place. And I'm not talking about interesting by ways of who's better than who. I'm just talking about where the Buccaneers are sitting right now, and we'll get into more of that later. But you have the Saints in first place. You have the Buccaneers in second place. you have, I believe, the Falcons now have leapfrogged the Panthers and went into third, and then the Panthers are now in fourth. So this one, I'll go ahead and I'll start with this one, and I'll tell you, obviously, the NFC South, I do have the Saints winning it. It's so even Will says Saints take the division. TB ends up as a number 2 wild card spot. I mean, I could potentially see that, and that's only because when you look at the Buccaneers schedule now, pretty much every team that they play from here on out is at 500 or under. So they have an easy schedule that is coming up, but they're not going to be good enough to catch the Saints. The Saints are going to – I hope they don't win out because Green Bay sitting right there for that number 1 seed. We need that. So I need the Saints to lose 1. The Saints are going to win the South. The Buccaneers, I think, they're going to get a wild card spot. Right now, I'll give them the number 1 wild card spot. So I'll go to the man from the Midwest on this one, Brandon Herrera, who wins the NFC South.
Yeah, I got pretty much the same thing. Saints are going to win that division. I'm kind of tossed if I want them to win out for the number 1 spot because I have some reasons, but the Bucs, they should get in. I mean, they should get in the first spot or the second spot. I think that's going to be determined this weekend with the Vikings playing the Bucs on how that's going to turn out. So, I got the Saints winning, Bucs in the wild card spot. All
right, mess around.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on this. I'm going to go with the Saints. They sit at 2. They got like a 4 game lead on Tampa Bay. They'd have to lose 3 out of their last 4 for Tampa Bay. So I think they got this division wrapped up. I just don't know how far you can trust Taysom Hill. I mean, I know they're supposed to get Drew Brees back soon. So, and that defense is playing pretty good too for New Orleans. I got the Saints winning this. Tampa Bay takes the wild card spot.
Well, Drew Brees is supposed to be back. He's on. He was supposed to be back this week. He was on track to play this week. It hasn't came out and said if he was going to play or not, but he was on track to play. All right. So J-Mac, NFC South.
Well, just as a correction here, quick mess around. They actually have a 3-game lead. They're 10-2. The Saints are. The Bucs are 7-5, but they own that 4-game lead by beating them twice this year. Mm-hmm. So actually, if the Saints win this week, the Buccaneers can't catch them because they'll have 11 wins already. So the Saints are going to win the division this week. They will be fine. And thank you, Will Polson. I was just going to pull that up. The fact that the Saints are 9-0 the last 2 seasons without Drew Brees.
Yep.
So without Drew Brees, they're going to be just fine. There's no question. They're going to win the NFC South. The 1 seed, the 2 seed is still up in the air. But yeah, they're going to win this division, no doubt. And I don't think Tampa Bay makes the playoffs. Just to be honest.
Wait, what? Okay. They play all teams 500 or under in their final remaining games.
Yeah. Why don't you tell that to the Steelers?
Okay, but they only lost to 1 team that was under 5. The Steelers did not come out and lose to like 4 consecutive teams that are 500 or under. I don't think. Now, I'm not saying the Buccaneers are great by any stretch of the imagination. But I don't think that's going to happen to where they're going to come out and lose all those games. They play every team that's basically 500 or under. I don't see that happen.
Okay, and here we have this major debate about whether or not it was Bill Belichick, was it Tom Brady? Well, here we are, 12 weeks into the season, and Brady's team is 1 game better than Belichick's team, 7-5 versus 6-6, and Tom Brady loaded his team with all kinds of talent. So who's better? Belichick. It's hands down. It's not even close because he's got nothing, and he's at 500. Brady's 1 game better than that at 7-5. It's not Brady. It's not Brady. And Arians doesn't even believe in Brady. Listen to him every game. He doesn't believe in what Brady's going out there and doing. Had nothing to do with that. Tampa Bay's done.
I completely agree with you on the aspect of Arians doesn't trust Brady, but the simple fact is this. Like, the simple fact is they do have weapons. They're going to beat some bad teams. And that's why I don't see them not being in it. But I do agree with you on the aspect that right now it is it is more shocking to me and actually shows that Belichick was better on that aspect because of he's playing with nothing in New England. He's got nothing, and he's got him at 6-6, and the Buccaneers are at 7-5. So, all right. So I'll agree with you on that one, but not on the other one. All right. So now we're going to jump to the NFC North. So the NFC North, obviously, if Green Bay wins this week, they actually clinch the division with a win over the Lions. So I've got Green Bay taking the North, but I'm still on that toss-up whether Minnesota's going to sneak in or not. All right, so on this one, I'll go ahead and I'll start with J-Mac on this one.
So who's winning the NFC North? It's Green Bay.
Yeah, but
You got to win one game.
But is Minnesota going to sneak in?
Don't they still need the Vikings to lose, though? If they win it?
No, well, technically, so if they don't win this week, all they have to do is reach 11 wins.
So they have 9, so they need 2. But
yeah,
it doesn't matter. They can go do the rest of the year and win the division. So it's fine. They're going to win the division. Does Minnesota get in? Do I want them to get in? No. Who in their own division wants someone from their own division to get in? Not at all. Well, I would much rather see Minnesota in than Tampa Bay, just because I want Tom Brady to go down in flames hard. And there's another reason for that, which I can get into at another time. But after a thing I saw this week, yeah.
Yeah, and this is the interesting thing, too, because if you remember this week, it's actually the Vikings versus the Bucs. So this is a very big game for both the Vikings and Bucs, because if the Vikings win this game, they're going to leapfrog the Buccaneers. That's crazy. That would be crazy. All right, so mess around. What do you got?
Is this even a question? Really? Like, Green Bay's had this division wrapped up for a while now, and it's not even close. They're playing the best ball in that division. They're running away with it. Green Bay is going to win it.
But is Minnesota going to sneak in?
You know, I got Tampa Bay beating them this weekend. I don't think that they're going to get in. I think Tampa Bay is going to get in over them.
But you still miss the wild card. Mike's don't get in, though.
Yeah. All right, Brandon Herrera.
Yeah, I'm going 4-4 with you guys. I think Packers are going to win this week and clinch the division. And if the Vikings aren't going to make the playoffs or make a splash in the playoffs, I hope the Packers do, because that is a team that I said I was going to pull for my aunt. So I had the Vikings getting in. I don't know if they'll beat the Bucs, but if they beat the Bucs, then I think they're for sure in. I think if they don't beat them, it's going to come down to them and the Cardinals battling for that 7th spot. So, yeah, I got the Packers in, and right now I got the Vikings in, but a lot depends on this game right here coming up.
So Will actually made an interesting point and said that if Chicago would have beat Detroit last week, he would have unbiasedly taken Chicago to get into that 7th seed only because of their soft schedule. So, but it didn't happen. So, sorry, man. All right. So now we're going to jump to the AFC side of things, and we'll jump to the AFC West. So, I'm sorry. I still had to say the AFC. We had to jump to the AFC West. We know that the Chiefs are going to obviously win the AFC West. We know that. But then you have to look at the team that's behind them, which is the Las Vegas Raiders. And are they good enough to sneak in the playoffs and maybe a 6th or 7th seed? So, I don't know. So I'll go ahead and I'll start out with mess around on this one. The Chiefs are obviously going to win it, but are the Raiders going to sneak in?
The Chiefs are definitely going to win, and with the way the Raiders have been playing lately, I mean, it took them the last second to beat the Jets, and then they got blown out by the Falcons the week before. So you just don't know what you're going to get with the Raiders. I want to say they get in, but I don't see it. Not with the way they're playing.
All right, the man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera.
So I mean, Casey's playing just phenomenal schoolyard football. I mean, that's all I can say about them. So, yeah, they're going to win it. There was a website I found, kind of a prediction playoff thing. So I typed in on what I thought the ending of the season was going to be for the next 5 games, and I got the Raiders just sneaking in. So I got them in, but I could see them being Jekyll and Hyde and probably wait until the week 17 to finalize that spot. So
Yeah,
Raiders in, KC wins it.
Yeah, because they're also competing with the Dolphins for that playoff spot too, and the Dolphins and Raiders actually play each other, so that's coming up too. All right, so J-Mac.
Chiefs win the division. I cannot say the Raiders are going to the playoffs. Mess around already knew that was coming. There is no way I could say that. But it's not just based on that opinion. They also started what was their record to start last year? Anyone remember? They were 5-2 to start the season last year, and then in the last 9 games they went 2-7. So the Raiders fall apart when it's time to play good football, and they won't make the playoffs.
All right. So we all know what's going to happen in the AFC West. So with that one, we will go to the AFC South. This one is going to actually kind of be an interesting division in a way because you either have Indianapolis or Tennessee. So it's like it's right there. This could really go either way. But you got to look at which team you're going to trust more. Are you going to trust the Colts more? You're going to trust the Titans more. The reason why I would say I would trust the Colts more is based off of defense, number one. And if I had to trust a quarterback between Rivers and Tannehill, I have to go with the Colts. So I'll take the Colts, but the Titans are going to make it too. But I obviously have to take the Colts winning it. So with this one, I'll go ahead and I'll start with the man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera, AFC South. Who wins it?
Oh, that's going to be tough. Just looking at the last 2 games they got here, Tennessee's got a pretty easier schedule than the Colts do. God, I hate to go against my buddy, but I think Tennessee's going to take the division with the Colts make the playoffs, though. So, yeah, I got Tennessee taking it with the Colts 12 seconds.
Well, I mean, like we said, this could legitimately go either way. It really, really could. So, J-Mac, I see that look on your face, like, really, Tennessee? And I know where you're going with this because you're going to say the Colts because you already said it once. But go ahead.
I haven't said it once. I've said it 4 or 5 times because I said it before the season started when we did our predictions before and we did NFL predictions. I said the Colts were winning the AFC South. And Phillip Rivers wasn't the only reason. The defense was the reason. And their defense is what's going to win them the AFC South. They've proven that over and over again. So, yeah, the Colts are going to win this division. The Titans will get in, though. And I think the Titans they're a good playoff team because when you get into the playoffs, it's more about doing what it takes to win. And the Titans are a team that can just run it down your throat and control the clock and not let your quarterback have the ball. So, they get into a situation in the playoffs where they're going up against a team you're going up against a team like Kansas City, and you could just control the clock and not let Patrick Mahomes get the ball. That'd be an interesting game. So, Colts win, but the Titans are in.
All right, mess around.
Yeah, I got the Colts winning the division for all the reasons J-Mac said. Their defense travels, man. You got a defense like that, they can just lock you down. But both teams are going to get in for sure. If you remember last year in the championship game, the Titans actually had a lead against Kansas City in that title game. They did all the things that J-Mac talked about, kept them off the field, and they still lost the game to Kansas City. So, but yeah, I got the Colts. Both teams are going to make playoffs.
So I read a funny comment on the side just a second ago. It's kind of funny because Will was like, I said on multiple times that Vegas would go 12-4, and then they lost like 37. So, yeah. so that was kind of funny also. All right, so now we'll jump over to the AFC East. So when we jump over to the AFC East, either are you going to go with Buffalo or you're going to go with Miami? And I know statistically New England's still in it, but New England's not going to get there. It's not going to be New England. So it's got to either be Buffalo or Miami. But I think with the way Buffalo's playing right now, it's going to be Buffalo. Miami, I think it's that final playoff spot, but Buffalo's taking the East. So mess around. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got the Bills winning the division. I don't see Miami overtaking them for the lead. But I do have Miami getting that final spot.
All right. The man from the Midwest.
I got the Bills. I think Dolphins' biggest problem right now is they don't know who's going to be at quarterback. I mean, the defense is nice, but I had them battling with the Raiders on getting in that last playoff spot. So actually, I got the Dolphins right now looking on the outside looking in. So right now, I just have the Dolphins in that division.
All right, and J-Mac.
The Bills. The Bills take the East, but the Dolphins get in. I think they get in a playoff spot and surprise everybody because no one thought it was going to go this quick for them to get in the playoffs. So, but the Bills will take it.
All right, so then our last division. Who have I said so far? Oh, sorry. So our last division is the AFC West.
North.
Sorry. I forgot. I thought I already said the North, but yes, the AFC North, and obviously we already know that Pittsburgh's winning that division. Obviously, because Baltimore's not really hot on their tails, and Cleveland's right there, but I don't think Pittsburgh's going to lose very many more games. So I'll go with Pittsburgh, but obviously Cleveland's going to get into, and then you got to look at the third team, which is Baltimore Ravens. Does Baltimore get in? You know what? Go ahead and give me three teams too. I'm going to tell you Baltimore gets in. So 3 teams in the North are going to make it in. J-Mac, you go ahead and start on this one.
All right, follow me on a little adventure here. Okay, so Steelers win the division. The Browns get in. Yay to the Browns, first time in since 2002. Yay for the Browns. So it's fourth quarter, 1 minute, 13 seconds left on the clock. Wild card round. Baker Mayfield goes back, throws the ball down to Jarvis Landry, who catches the touchdown. Final score: Chiefs 41. Cleveland Browns 7.
Right?
Oh,
man, you know what? I would love to agree with you on that, but the Browns running game is too good. So, all right. So the man from the Midwest.
yeah, I mean, we all know Steelers don't win. You know, Browns, their running game's solid. They got a decent passing game that could help them out. I mean, you got 2 running backs that are averaging over 100 yards every game, or each of them. So I got them in. Again, I got the Raiders sitting on the outside looking in. I mean, it's going to come down to which team's going to not make the mistake to cost them the game, I think. So I got the Ravens on the outside looking in on a very close, probably week 17. It'll probably be decided.
All right. Mess around.
Cleveland's going to come back and win this division. I see Cleveland winning. Pittsburgh gets in, and Baltimore is the one left out.
All right. So now our next.
Was that Messer on or Freddie? Was that Messer on or Freddie? Did I hear Brown winning?
Yeah, that's weird. All right. So our next topic is actually J-Mac Spotlight Player. So J-Mac, you get to go in your Spotlight Player.
All right, the last 2 weeks we've gone to NFL players. This week I'm going to do something a little different. And I will tell you that if you're not a fan of this league, you will not know who I'm talking about. But I do believe that everyone on this show will know this guy. We're going to go to the NHL this week. We are going to go to Matthew Cullen. He's a retired American ice hockey. He was a center. He played 21 seasons in the NHL. He played for the Anaheim Ducks, the Florida Panthers. He played for the Carolina Hurricanes, the New York Rangers, the Senators, the Wild, the Predators, and the Penguins. This is a guy who played 21 years. He played from 1997 to 2018 was the last time he played the game. But the interesting thing about him is that he is only one of 21 players in NHL history to play 1,500 NHL games. He's the only one of the group that's never made the All-Star game. Yeah. So if you think about that, like this guy played a long time, never made the All-Star game. But and Freddie was talking about never missing a game. So in 21 seasons for this guy, he missed 16 regular season games in 21 years in hockey, mind you. Again, 1,516 career games. He was never a great scorer, never a great point guy, putting up points. He did win the Stanley Cup 3 times. He won it with the Hurricanes in 2006 and the Penguins in 2016 and 17. So kind of a tip to his career as at the end of his career there. And he did earn a bronze medal in the World Championships as a member of the U.S. team. So hats off to a guy like Matt Cullen. And the reason I picked him is because there's a lot of those guys you can look around the league that have been around a long time. They've been around forever. They keep getting picked up by teams. They never do anything great. They don't score a lot of points. They're not the all-star caliber players, but they're just solid players who are around for a long time. And so hats off tonight to Matt Cullen on the great career. He actually did retire here recently. He announced his retirement in September, so he won't be playing in 2020 after he was a free agent last year and didn't get picked up. So hats off to Matt Cullen. But 1,500 career games. How about that, Brandon? That's insane. 21 seasons in the NHL.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, J-Mac, for your spotlight player. The spotlight player is great as always. So we're going to go into our last topic of the night, which our last topic of the night is actually the AL Central. And since this is Mess Around Dave's favorite team plays in the AL Central, which is the Chicago White Sox, I will go ahead and I will allow Mess Around Dave to take this one first. So go ahead and give me your predictions for the AL Central. Where are the teams going to finish and why?
Okay, so first obviously, I'm going to go with the White Sox winning this. It's going to be a 3-team race all year. It's going to be the White Sox, Twins, and maybe the Indians if they don't trade Lindor, but they've read that they're trying to. But with the White Sox, they made some moves already. They went out and they traded for Lance Lynn. Another, I believe he finished 7th in the Cy Young or 5th. They have 3 guys in rotation that's finished in the top 7 in their Cy Young race. So that bolstered the staff. Then they went and brought in Adam Eaton, who used to play for us before. He's a good run producer. He gets on base, takes a lot of walks. This team, the White Sox, hit the ball out of the yard. They got a lot of power. Their defense is okay. If they put him in as a DH, that'd be better for them because he's terrible in that field. Their center fielder is a Gold Glove guy. The Twins, I'd see them finishing second, depending on what kind of moves they make. It's still early in the offseason, and they've always been good the last couple of years. Some way they find a way to get it done. They find pieces and people you wouldn't expect to be good that are good. But yeah, I got the White Sox winning the division.
All right. The man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera, since your Minnesota Twins play in this division, you go ahead and take it away, brother.
Oh, you remember that the Twins played in the Midwest or the Central too? Okay. Yeah, I think this will be an interesting division, top to bottom. I mean, the White Sox have by far made, I think, any impact right now out of any of the teams in the Central. I got them winning, but I want to kind of see how their new coach LaRussa and how this analytics stuff gel together. I kind of like to see him go old school, but we'll see how it goes if he brings in some kind of hybrid mixture here. The Twins, I really don't see them making a splash at all. They kind of remind me of those little cliques in high school where all they do is talk, but nothing really happens. They could blow it up. They could finish third, fourth, or fifth. I do kind of see them finishing second. I hope they go out and get ace, but I don't think they will. Cleveland, yeah, they're trying to move their biggest asset right now in their shortstop. So, they could, if they move them, who knows what Cleveland's going to do. And then rounding up the bottom, Tigers, I see that, ended the same way. But, yeah, I got the White Sox taking it. I'm pretty interested in how everything gels over there. So.
All right, J-Mac.
Well, let's see. We've had someone say it's a 3-team race. Someone else said the Twins aren't going to do anything. It's a 1-team race. The White Sox are going to take it. That pains me to say because I am so not a White Sox fan on the AL side, even though my team's Atlanta and they don't really have much to do with them. I don't like rooting for the White Sox. They've just never been a team that I've rooted for. But I can't deny the fact that they got so much better in the offseason after having a great year last year. So I think if you got the order, you're going to go White Sox, Twins. Who else we got? White Sox, Twins, Indians, Tigers, and Royals. I think the Royals are still at the bottom, honestly.
All right. So when you look at the AL Central, this is kind of an interesting thing that it's funny because I've been talking to Mess Around Dave about this for the longest time. We've been talking about our World Series predictions from a few years back, and we've been talking about the White Sox and Braves, and we're like 2020 and then 2021. Well, last year it could have been close. I mean, it was there. Had a shot at it, but it didn't happen. So when we're looking at the AL Central this year, I'm going to say people are sleeping on this game. And so I'm going to say that the Kansas City Royals are going to actually finish last in this division. Okay, so
what the?
so there you go. So the Kansas City Royals are going to finish last in this division. But don't be surprised. The one team that I could actually foresee them actually going over in this division would actually be the Tigers. So they could potentially finish ahead of the Tigers because the Tigers haven't done much. They haven't done anything really. The Royals have actually made a couple moves that has actually made them better. The Tigers have not. When you look at the Royals have actually went out and they got Mike Minor, which nothing major, but it's an upgrade in the rotation. They got Carlos Santana. That's good. So they have made a few moves. So is it good enough to move them out of the cellar? Maybe to get above the Tigers, but that's about it. Who's going to win the AL Central? Right now, I'm going to say the Chicago White Sox. They have the reigning MVP on the White Sox. But the Twins have a shot. If the Twins can go out and get a little bit more pitching and actually get pitching help, the Twins are actually loaded on the power side from top to bottom also. So they could actually compete with the White Sox. But they have to get that pitching. If they don't do that, it's not going to be close to the White Sox are going to take because the White Sox are slowly getting better too. As we see, they're making moves. So right now, you might actually see my prediction. Mess around, I'm going for it again. I'm saying it again. I got to do it, man. White Sox Braves. I'm calling it. White Sox Braves.
I'm with you.
This is the year that the Braves are able to overtake the Dodgers. The White Sox make it. So, yes, the White Sox win the Central, win second. We'll go the Indians third. And then, you know what? Just for the heck of it, because everybody has the Royals going fourth, the Royals going last. I'm going to say the Royals are going to go fourth. The Tigers are going to finish last. That is my prediction. All right. So that's basically the end of our show. But before we wrap it up for the night,
Will Polston actually had a question for the floor, and it's why fire Rick Renteria for Chicago White Sox when they are young, went to the postseason, and then was up for Manager of the Year?
okay, so with that being said, Mess Around's not on here anymore. I was going to give Mess Around the chance on that one, but he actually hopped off here. So with that, and that's actually a good question, but you do see it, though. You do see it to where coaches will lead their teams to the playoffs, and then what happens? Even though they make the playoffs, they don't do anything, and then the owners go, you know what? You made it. You didn't do anything. You had your shot, and so now with that, we're going to move away from you and hope the next person we get can lead us over that hump. And I really think that was a bit –
I think there was some disagreement between ownership, GM, and Renteria because, he was leading coach of the year all season, and then they go to the playoffs and something happened. So I think there's some kind of disagreement there somewhere.
Well, so La Russa, I don't know at this point. Hold on here. If La Russa is going to be the answer, but we will talk about that because Mess Around Dave is actually back, so he's back up on the screen now. So Mess Around, you just missed the question, and since you're the White Sox fan, I was going to give you a chance to answer this. The question that Will Polson actually said was, why fire Rick Renteria for the White Sox when they are young, went to the postseason, and then was up for the Manager of the Year? So why fire him?
Okay, so I was fine with them firing Renteria, and the reason why is because the guy did not know how to manage a bullpen. Like, you go into game 3 with the A's, and you're going to do a bullpen game, you're not going to let your starter get out of the first inning, which their starter pitched good in the first inning, and then they went to the bullpen, and it fell apart from there. The guy just did not know how to manage a game. Get the players to play good? Yeah, he's good with that. He's a player's coach. But at the same time, I wasn't happy with them hiring Tony La Russa either, because I think the guy's past his prime. He's been out of the game for years. I actually wanted them to hire AJ Hinch, who ended up going to the Tigers.
All right. Interesting.
That might not be bad though, because when you look at La Russa, he is kind of old school, and this is no longer the old school baseball that we're used to. We're used to new style baseball now. That's what it is. Small ball doesn't work as well as it used to now because a lot of it's based off power.
Yep.
So that's why it's going to be interesting to see how his style works now in baseball nowadays. All right. So it's the end of the show, but before we hop off, we want to, one more time, we're going to talk about how you can earn one of those T-shirts. So, Mess Around Dave, how can you earn one of those T-shirts?
Like, comment, and share on any of the shows that we have on the network, and get yourself in there to win that T-shirt.
All right, and Mr. Man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera, what if you cannot come on and comment? And you're looking at those shirts going, you know what? I really want one of those shirts because those shirts are awesome. They're really flashy, and I want to wear it around town so I can let everybody know that I represent All Sports and All Plays Network. How can you go out and get one of those shirts?
Well, you get in contact with one of the ASAP Network people, and then we will direct you to how you can go about ordering that shirt. Not for $25.99 or $25. But it is going to be for $14.99 from here on out, plus shipping and handling.
All right. So thank you very much for that. So our last thing of the night, I'm going to give each of you 30 seconds to say whatever it is you want to say. So J-Mac, you go ahead and take it away. You got 30 seconds.
All right. Well, we want to thank all the viewers. We couldn't do this without you guys. Lifelong dreams going here. We're growing every day. Make sure you like, share, and comment the page. By the way, you can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on YouTube. You can catch us on Twitch. We do Instagram posts. You can catch us almost anywhere. You don't have to miss an episode. By the way, you can also catch us on Anchor. If you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All right. Thank you all very much. Vic, we're thinking about you. Get better.
All right, Mr. Mess Around Dave, you got 30 seconds, brother.
I really ain't got much to say. Just thanks for having me on the show tonight. It was a pleasure. Vic, get well.
It's always a pleasure because I'll tell you what, we definitely agreed on the Eli Manning thing. That was great. You left him off your top 5. I left him off your top 5. But it was a pleasure to have you on. So thank you for coming on the show. It's always fun to have you on. Okay, so that man from the Midwest, Brandon Herrera, you got 30 seconds. You go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for viewing. I just came across an Institute's topic today. Touch on it quick. That the baseball was allowed to redo their minor league systems, and the Twins have now partnered with the local independent team, St. Paul Saints, as their AAA team. So I love me some St. Paul Saints baseball. I can't wait to watch some of these prospects emerge. And it's only a 10-minute drive now to the stadium for these guys. So I think that was a great job for MLB to do. So have a good night, guys.
All right. Thank you very much. Last but not least, we want to thank Mr. Nate the Great for being backstage, for doing our production thing. So we're going to go ahead and pull him up on the screen really quick and say, all right, thank you, Nate, for doing all that.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
We really appreciate it. All right, Nate. So you go ahead and you take us away, brother.
All right.
Roll us out of here.
Have a great night.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics never the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tight the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.